Picture this with me. The sun hitting the water just right. That perfect temperature breeze, maybe the sound of distant laughter or just pure quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the promise of a great day by the lake, isn't it? But turning that image into reality, especially for more than just, a few hours, requires unlocking some smart strategies.
It really does. It's about more than just showing up. It's the preparation that lets you truly relax once you're actually there.
Exactly. And that's our mission today. You've shared a stack of sources covering everything from cooler packing wizardry to staying safe and just making sure you have all the right stuff for maximum fun.
Right.
We're going to dive into that material and pull out the most important insights, the surprising nuggets, and the truly actionable advice so you can feel completely prepared for your next water adventure.
Yeah, we've looked at expert advice on everything from maximizing ice life and preventing electrical hazards to picking the right gear and even specific ways to handle common lakeside pests. It's a great mix, and the core takeaway across all of it is that preparation isn't really a chore. It's the key to unlocking pure enjoyment.
Okay, let's unpack this then. In the first place, we found some really eye-opening information is in something most people probably don't give a second thought to. Packing a cooler.
Right.
It turns out there's a significant difference between just throwing ice in a box and packing it strategically,
Yeah.
especially for longer trips.
This is where it gets really interesting. The deep dive into the sources revealed that the goal isn't just keeping things cold, but maximizing ice life and, maybe more critically, protecting your food from the dreaded cooler soup.
Ah, the soup.
Yeah.
Been there, ruined sandwiches that way. So what's the secret sauce or maybe the anti-sauce here?
Well, a major insight is freezing your own ice, specifically in plastic bottles.
Plastic bottles.
Yeah, gallon-sized bottles like those squarish crystal geyser ones mentioned. They fit nicely in larger coolers, apparently, and 2-liter soda bottles work too. The genius part. As they melt, the water stays inside the bottle, so you get cold water to drink later and zero nasty melt water sloshing around, soaking everything you packed.
So it doubles as your water supply and prevents the soggy mess. That's actually pretty smart.
Right. It's a simple hack, but highly effective. The sources also point out that while block ice should last longer, a lot of store-bought blocks are just compressed cubes. They melt faster than, true solid ice you freeze yourself.
Good to know.
And physics is on your side with bigger coolers. More cold mass means ice lasts longer. Plus, if you're lucky enough to be near a freezer, you can just pop those bottles back in overnight.
Okay, ice strategy unlocked. But even with contained meltwater, food still gets squished. Right. Or buried, or just damp from condensation.
That's the next layer of strategy. The sources strongly suggest putting your food inside heavy-duty shopping bags. You know the type, like the sturdy ones from places like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods.
Oh, yeah, the reusable ones.
Exactly. Or using durable plastic containers.
Yeah.
Maybe from a restaurant supply store, they suggested.
And why go to that effort? What's the payoff?
It achieves a few things. It keeps food dry from any moisture, obviously. It prevents crushing. And crucially, it lets you grab exactly what you need quickly, minimizing how long the cooler lid is open. Every second counts for keeping that ice frozen.
Ah, smart again. Efficiency linked to cold retention. I like it.
You might sacrifice a tiny bit of space, sure, but the payoff is huge. For containers, square or rectangular ones fit better than round ones in standard coolers.
Makes sense.
One source even suggested bringing your cooler to the store to check the fit. A 12-quart container was noted as a good size, and you can often fit 2 side by side.
Oh, handy.
This lets you organize by meal or type dinner in one, lunch in another, and they are fantastic for protecting fragile stuff like soft fruit or greens.
What if a container is just slightly too tall? Like it almost fits.
Okay, here's a dedication tip from one source. This was pretty wild. Don't be afraid to cut it down.
Cut down the plastic container.
Yeah. A jigsaw was mentioned as surprisingly effective for this. That's next level commitment to cooler optimization.
That is dedication. So how do you stack this masterpiece?
The sources recommend putting your frozen bottles flat on the bottom, makes a cold base.
Okay.
Food containers or bags go on top of that. Then fill any remaining space with loose ice cubes and already cold cans. They help fill gaps and add more cold mass.
Gotcha.
Keep things like fruit and veggies that don't need full submersion, maybe in a bin near the top, and everything else goes in those protective bags or containers.
And what about liquids that don't come in sturdy packaging, like salsa? Or milk cartons.
Okay, this is presented as an absolute non-negotiable for avoiding cooler soup. Those snap-top lids on salsa, hummus,
Yeah.
guacamole, they
Hmm.
will come off. It's almost guaranteed. Paper cartons, they get wet, weak, and they puncture easily. Disaster waiting to happen.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
Soggy, salsa-stained everything. Not
Yeah.
good.
Avoid it entirely. Transfer those liquids into sturdy screw-top containers. You can repurpose things. You already have stout old sauerkraut containers. The Linty ice cream jars were mentioned. Or those Costco nut containers. Good examples.
I mean, eggs. Can you do that with eggs?
Absolutely. Crack eggs into a bottle, maybe add a splash of half and half, shake it up.
Oh, wow.
You can even freeze this mixture for perfect scrambled eggs later with absolutely zero mess or risk of cracked shells. Freezing milk or half and half in bottles works great too.
Okay, the inside is a strategic fortress of cold. Got it. What about external factors, like the sun beating down on it?
The sources offer external hacks too. If your cooler is sitting in direct sun, draping a wet, light-colored towel over it provides evaporative cooling.
Simple enough.
A fitted Reflectix cover is a more involved option if you want to get fancy. And here's a counterintuitive thought if you're near a really cold creek or lake.
Yeah.
Putting the entire cooler in the water, securely tied off of course, can actually help keep it cold longer.
Putting the whole thing in the water, that's intense. And the lid. Does heat get in through the lid?
Inside the lid is another place heat gets in, yeah. Cutting a piece of closed-cell foam pad to fit snugly under the lid is a great insulator.
Like camping pad material.
Exactly. Or even just putting a folded wet towel under the lid helps keep hot air away from your contents and reduces condensation dripping down.
This definitely takes more effort up front than just dumping ice, I get that. But it sounds like the payoff in longevity huge.
That leads to another crucial insight. Coolers keep cold. They don't make it cold.
They're insulators.
Precisely. So
Okay.
putting warm or room temperature items in is the fastest way to melt your ice. The sources emphasize pre-chilling or freezing everything you possibly can beforehand. Drinks, meat slice, and marinade before freezing, pasta sauce, milk, those scrambled eggs, all of it.
So do the work at home so the cooler doesn't have to work as hard on the trip. Got it.
Exactly. You can even pre-chill the cooler itself. Put sacrificial ice in it the night before, or if you have access, put the whole cooler in a walk-in freezer or large fridge.
Now, for truly multi-day trips, like a long river trip or something, the sources get even more advanced with the cooler strategy.
Oh, yeah. This is where a key game changer comes in, using multiple coolers.
All right.
One strategy is to have a separate cooler solely for ice. Just ice.
An ice-only cooler.
Yep. Duct tape the top closed on this ice-only cooler to prevent drafts and, maybe more importantly, the temptation to open it constantly. You use the stash to replenish the ice in your main food cooler as needed.
That makes a lot of sense. And maybe a separate cooler just for drinks, too.
Highly recommended. Thirsty people are constantly opening the cooler, letting cold air out. Having a separate one for drinks, maybe using mostly loose ice since those items rotate faster, saves the precious cold in your food cooler.
Okay, what's the ultimate hack? The biggest thing for maximum ice life on a really long trip?
The sources are pretty unanimous here. If you're using two coolers to divide food, say, food for the first few days in one, food for the latter half in another.
Yeah.
Use a larger or better insulated cooler for the second half's food. And then the biggest thing is you absolutely do not open that second cooler until you need it.
Seriously.
Don't open it at all.
Some sources even suggested literally duct taping it shut and writing, "Do not open until day X" on it.
Wow.
That discipline, that resisting the urge, is the single most effective way the sources found to preserve ice over extended periods.
That sounds intense, but the logic holds.
Resist the urge. Okay, quick detour.
What if you end up with block ice mid-trip? Someone gives you some.
Good question. If someone gives you glorious block ice on, say, a river trip, put it in a dry bag inside your cooler.
Containment again. Exactly. This way, as it melts, the water stays contained in the dry bag, not sloshing around your food. Dry ice can also extend cold for maybe a day or two, especially under frozen jugs. But one source cautioned that some veggies might react poorly to direct dry ice exposure, so be a bit careful there.
All right, the cooler is a frosty, organized masterpiece thanks to these strategies. Awesome. Now, what are we putting in it to fuel the fun? We've got ideas from a few places. Southern Living, Lake Life 101.
Even a physical therapy source weighed in on easy-to-transport food.
Really? Okay.
The key is portable and delicious snacks that hold up well and are easy to eat with minimal fuss, by the water or on a boat.
Give us some highlights. What sounds good?
Dips are always a hit, right? Boat dip was mentioned as taking just 5 minutes to make.
5 minutes. Nice.
There's a charcuterie board snack mix designed to be transportable, Texas caviar, or a simple mango black bean salsa with just 7 ingredients. Nuts and bolts snack mix is like classic boat food.
Okay. What about savory items that are a bit more substantial?
Plenty of ideas there, too. Ranch cheese crackers are an upgrade to a boxed snack. Turkey BLT pinwheels are more of a meal you can eat standing up.
Good for boating.
Yeah. 3-ingredient sausage balls are easy and craveable. Classic devil eggs are surprisingly portable if you pack them well. Ham and cheese sliders are a proven crowd pleaser. Muffin pan tomato tarts make like a handheld quiche sort of thing.
Oh, interesting.
And Hasselback sausage bites are perfect if you don't have a grill. Pimiento cheese stuffed peppers are great little poppable bites.
Yum. Okay, can't forget something sweet, though.
Of course not. Brown butter blondie sounded good. Monster cookies that pack in oats, toffee, and chocolate chips. And even homemade cookies and cream ice cream were mentioned. The ice cream could be a fun activity itself, maybe if you have the right setup.
Fun. And things that are just inherently refreshing on a hot day.
Well, fresh fruit salad is a no-brainer. Make it ahead, chill, serve. Watermelon, cucumber, and feta salad sounds absolutely perfect for a hot afternoon. Super hydrating.
That does sound good. For main meals, pre-made seems like the easiest way to go.
Definitely. Sandwiches and wraps are a go-to. Make them the morning of, if you can, to prevent sogginess.
Good tip.
One source suggested fun fillings for picky eaters, like PB&J with chocolate chips or PB banana marshmallow fluff.
Classic kid stuff.
Totally. For the truly ambitious, a portable grill for a BBQ is an option, but yeah, sandwiches are much simpler for a typical day trip.
Any food cautions for packing? Things to maybe avoid?
The big one. Avoid things that will melt into a disaster. Chocolate is obvious, right? But watch out for mayo-based salads if you're not certain they'll stay consistently very cold. Melted chocolate in a cooler is a total catastrophe the sources warn against. Just don't.
Noted. Avoid the chocolate soup, too.
Exactly. And linked to food, hydration is absolutely critical, especially in the heat.
Yeah, more important than people often realize, I think.
For sure. The primary rule from the sources: drink plenty of non-alcoholic fluids before you feel thirsty. Account for how much you'll sweat in the heat. Bring much more water than you think you'll need. Better safe than sorry.
Are there any alternatives to plain water that are good for hydration, like to mix it up?
Yeah, definitely. Sparkling water, maybe dressed up with fruit or herbs, is a nice change. Coconut water is low in calories and high in potassium. Juice can be good, especially for kids, providing natural sugars for energy.
Okay.
Sports drinks offer electrolytes, but you gotta watch the sugar content in some of them. Even a small amount of caffeine-free soda can be a welcome variety. And remember, the ice melting in your drinks adds bonus water.
Good point. And a really important reminder. Stay responsibly hydrated, particularly if you're operating a boat or driving home later.
Absolutely crucial for safety. And cleanup is part of the plan. Bring trash bags. One source pointed out that aluminum cans take like 500 years to decompose.
Wow.
Also, avoid glass bottles entirely. They break too easily and create dangerous shards. Stick to cans or plastic.
Okay, we've got the food and drink situation dialed in, organized in that fortress-like cooler.
Sure.
Let's think about comfort gear for relaxing by the water. Seating, as mentioned, is key.
Yes, having comfortable seating, whether chairs or benches, makes a huge difference in your ability to relax. Travel Plus Leisure did some great testing on camping chairs, actually.
Oh, I'm always curious about those.
Yeah.
They range from tiny little things to giant thrones, it feels like.
Totally. They tested 2 main styles: the standard, larger folding chairs and the smaller, more compact bucket chairs. The key factors they looked at were, comfort, ease of setup, durability, and overall value.
What did they find about portability? That seems important for a lake trip.
Yeah, that's prime. Weight is a big factor. Under 10 pounds is ideal for carrying from the car or boat. Packed size matters too, especially if you're limited on space.
Right.
Bucket chairs generally packed down very small, often fitting into totes or backpacks. Super portable.
But maybe less comfy or stable.
Well, there's a trade-off. Standard chairs usually have a higher seat, which is much easier to get in and out of, and higher weight capacities, typically 250, 350 pounds. Bucket chairs sit quite low to the ground. Some as low as 9.5, 11 inches was mentioned, and usually have lower capacities.
Good to know.
If you need more capacity, look for heavy-duty models or double chairs, which can hold up to 500 pounds.
And durability. What materials should we look for? Stuff that lasts.
The sources recommend robust, reinforced polyester or nylon. You might see terms like denier. Higher numbers, like 600 or 900 denier, generally means stronger, more durable, and more fade and water-resistant fabric.
Okay.
Metal legs should be rust-resistant, and always let them dry fully before storing them away. Prevents rust and mildew.
Did any specific models stand out in their testing? Any winners?
A few highlights, yeah. The Kijaro Dual Lock was named best overall, apparently durable, comfortable, and very stable with its dual lock system. The GCI Outdoor Pod Rocker Elite was best rocker, noted for its unique shocks and stable base.
A rocker. Interesting.
Yeah. If you're ready to splurge for maximum portability and ease of setup, the Helinox Chair 1 is really lightweight and uses shock cords for quick assembly, though it does sit quite low, remember. For car camping or wanting space, the Kimea Outdoor Gear Bear Buddy Double was a durable, comfy double option. Sit with someone or just stretch out.
What about something that packs down incredibly small, like tiny?
The Moon Lens packed down tiny, just over 12 inches long, apparently, and it was surprisingly sturdy, although it takes a bit more effort to assemble than a standard folder.
Right, those pull setups.
Exactly. The REI Co-op FlexLite Air was incredibly lightweight at just 1 pound, also compact and quick to set up. And for heavy-duty needs, the Living XL 500-pound capacity chair was specifically called out for its reinforced materials, oversized 24-inch wide seat, and higher 19-inch seat height, making it easier to get in and out of. Dual cup holders, too.
Wow, who knew there was so much to chairs? Okay, beyond seating, what other comfort gear is essential for a good lake day setup?
Shade is crucial. A beach umbrella, a pop-up canopy for your spot on shore, or if you're on a boat, the bimini top.
Definitely need shade.
Bring plenty of towels extra for splashes. And even on a hot day, light jackets or hoodies are smart for cooler mornings, evenings, or just after getting out of the water when you might get chilled.
Good call. Comfort and gear covered. Now, let's talk about something that absolutely can't be overlooked. Safety on and by the water.
Yeah, this is paramount. Sources like Alabama Power and Easy Dock Texas really emphasize being prepared here. It's serious stuff.
Let's start with boating basics, if you're taking a boat out.
Okay, before you even launch, check your boat motor belts, fluids, basic stuff, and ensure all required safety equipment is on board and easily accessible.
What exactly is required? What do you absolutely need?
Okay, number 1, a USCG-approved life jacket for every single person aboard.
Every single one.
Everyone. And they must fit snugly, be the appropriate size. Adult vests don't work for kids. They have to be in good condition, and the key thing here is readily accessible. Meaning, not stuffed in a bag, not locked in a compartment, not buried under all your gear. You need to be able to grab them instantly in an emergency.
Got it. Accessible.
Boats 16 feet and over also need a Type 4V throwable device, like a cushion or a ring buoy. And there are rules about when you must wear a jacket. Children under 8 while the boat is moving, anyone on a personal watercraft like a jet ski, anyone being towed skiing or tubing, and within 800 feet below a dam.
Specific rules.
Yeah, and test your jackets yearly for wear and buoyancy. Make sure they still float.
Readily accessible is a detail that could easily be overlooked, but sounds critical.
It absolutely could, and it's so important in an emergency. Beyond gear, the sources stress courtesy on the water. Be mindful of your wake around docks, homes, and other boaters. Drive defensively, assume others might not see you, or might do something unexpected.
Good advice anywhere.
Give way, even if you think you have the right of way, just be safe.
Yeah.
And be extra cautious, watching for smaller craft like paddle boards and kayaks. They can be hard to see.
And the rule that should go without saying, but must be said.
Do not drink and operate a boat. It is against the law and incredibly dangerous. Just don't do it, period.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about a silent, kind of terrifying threat. Electricity and water.
Yeah, this is electric shock drowning, or ESD. It happens when water becomes electrified, often from faulty wiring or damaged cords from docks, boats, or shoreline power setups.
How does that happen?
If someone is in that energized water, they can become a conductor. It can lead to muscle paralysis, making it impossible to swim, heart issues, and even death. It's often silent, no splashing.
That sounds horrifying, really scary.
It's a serious risk people need to be aware of. The sources strongly advise. Never swim around a boat, a marina, or a launching ramp, period.
Why not?
Even residual current can energize the water in those areas. Signs of a potential hazard include breakers or GFCIs tripping frequently. That's a warning sign.
So how can you protect yourself and others?
Maintenance is key. Test your GFCI's ground fault circuit interrupters and ELCI's equipment leakage circuit interrupters monthly. These are safety devices designed to detect dangerous electrical leaks into the water and shut off the power.
Okay, testing those regularly.
Conduct leakage testing if you have a boat with an electrical system. When it comes to cords, never ever use household extension cords near water. Only use UL Marine listed portable GFCIs or proper shore power cords and adapters designed for marine use.
Makes sense.
Know where the main breakers are, both on your boat and on the shore power pedestal. And always be aware of power lines overhead, especially when moving boats with masts or tall antennas.
A regular inspection by a qualified marine electrician is also recommended, right?
Absolutely, especially for older boats or dock wiring. And be extremely cautious around floodwaters. Stay out if outlets or cords could be submerged, or if you see sparks or hear buzzing or crackling sounds. Water and electricity don't mix safely without precautions.
Very important warnings.
Mhm.
Okay, heat safety is another major factor, especially on a hot, sunny lake day.
Yeah, heat stroke and heat exhaustion are real risks. The primary advice is consistent across sources. Drink plenty of non-alcoholic fluids before you actually feel thirsty. By the time you're thirsty, you're already starting to dehydrate.
Good point.
If you have health conditions that restrict fluids, obviously ask your doctor first. The sources note that electric fans aren't really effective enough in very high heat, like the high 90s or above. Cool showers, baths, or getting into AC are better cooling methods.
And clothing.
Wear lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. Helps your body stay cool. Be extra vigilant checking on vulnerable people, infants, the elderly, those who are ill, they're more susceptible. Limit intense outdoor activity to cooler morning and evening hours if possible.
And sun protection is part of heat safety, too.
Essential. A wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and high SPF sunscreen, SPF 15 or higher, was the minimum mentioned. Look for broad spectrum or UVA, UVB protection on the label.
And reapply.
Oh yeah, reapply often, especially after swimming or sweating heavily. Sunburn is not only painful, it hinders your body's ability to cool itself.
Okay. Weather can change really quickly on the water or by the shore. What about storms?
Always be aware of the forecast and keep an eye on the sky. Lightning is a serious threat. It strikes the U.S. 25 million times a year, apparently. Kills an average of 49 people per year. If you hear thunder or see lightning, get off elevated areas immediately. Never lie flat on the ground. Get out of the water instantly. Stay away from electrical conductors like metal fences or power lines. Get to a substantial, safe shelter and wait 30 minutes after the last thunderclap before going back outside.
30 minutes after the last one. Got it.
Severe thunderstorms are specifically defined by hail an inch or larger, or wind gusts of 58 mile or more. Listen to weather radio or apps. Watch for dark skies, increasing wind, lightning. Avoid electrical equipment and corded phones during a storm. Cell phones are generally okay.
What if you're caught outdoors?
Avoid high ground, water, tall isolated trees, and metal objects. Those little picnic shelters or rain sheds, they're not safe structures in a severe thunderstorm with high winds or lightning. Find a real building or a hardtop vehicle.
And floods are particularly dangerous around lakes and rivers.
Absolutely. If flooding starts, get to higher ground immediately. The sources are really clear. Do not drive or walk through floodwaters. Even 6 inches of moving water can knock you down, and 2 feet can sweep a car away. Plus, the water could be hiding dangers like debris or downed power lines, making it electrified.
Turn around, don't drown.
Exactly. Avoid submerged electrical items. If officials tell you to evacuate, do so immediately. Don't wait. If you have time, lock your home and disconnect utilities.
Having a basic first aid kit accessible sounds like a really good idea for minor bumps, scrapes, bug bites.
Oh, absolutely. Bandages, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, any personal medications you need, and definitely bug spray are key items to have on hand. Simple, but can make a big difference.
Speaking of bug spray, let's talk about some less than welcome guests. Pests. Mosquitoes, ticks, yellow jackets. They could be a real nuisance.
And more than just nuisance. They're called vectors because they can transmit diseases or cause harm. Sources from the Tahoe Basin area had some really good seasonal strategies for dealing with them.
Okay, what's the main approach? Is there an overall strategy?
Yeah, they summarize it nicely as the 4 Ds of protection: drain, defend, dress, and discourage.
Okay, break that down. Drain.
Drain standing water around your area, puddles, buckets, old tires to eliminate mosquito breeding grounds. Even small amounts matter.
Defend.
Defend yourself using effective insect repellent. DEET, picaridin, IR3535, and oil of lemon eucalyptus were specifically recommended as effective ingredients. Always follow the label directions. And they specifically said avoid combination sunscreen repellent products.
And why is that?
Because you generally need to reapply sunscreen more frequently than repellent, so using a combo product means you might over-apply repellent. Better to apply them separately.
Good tip. Okay, dress.
Dress by wearing long sleeves and long pants when possible, especially during peak mosquito or tick hours or in grassy wooded areas. Creates a physical barrier.
And discourage.
Discourage pests from entering structures like cabins or even tents by repairing window and door screens and sealing any potential entry points larger than a quarter inch. Keeps them out.
Makes sense. Does the strategy change depending on the season? Are different pests worse at different times?
Yeah, definitely. Spring brings snowmelt mosquitoes, those early ones, and also rodents that might have been nesting in vacant buildings over winter, posing a hantavirus risk.
Antivirus, okay.
And a key insight here: do not sweep or vacuum dry rodent droppings or nests. That can stir up the virus into the air where you can inhale it. The sources recommend wet mopping contaminated areas with a fresh 10% bleach solution or a suitable disinfectant while wearing a dust mask, rubber gloves, and eye protection. Wet cleaning keeps particles down.
That's a really important specific instruction. Okay, summer. Probably peak pest season.
It often is. Mosquitoes are everywhere, so keep eliminating standing water constantly. Yellow jackets become common near people and food. Keep food and drinks covered outdoors. Keep garbage cans tightly closed. Rinse out recycling bins. Avoid areas where you see lots of yellow jackets, and definitely do not disturb a nest. That's asking for trouble.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tick-borne diseases like tick-borne relapsing fever, TBRF, plague, and hantavirus, which are associated with rodents, are also a risk in summer. Prevent rodent infestations, report any sick or dying rodents you see to local health authorities, and avoid contact yourself and keep your pets away too.
Any specific advice for TBRF?
Yeah, for TBRF specifically, do not sleep on the floor in cabins or areas where rodents might be present, and try to avoid direct contact between your bed or bedding and the walls, as ticks can crawl along those edges.
Wow, okay. Fall. Do things calm down then?
Rodents are still active, often looking for winter shelter, so continue to remove food and shelter sources near homes or cabins. A specific tip: do not feed rodents, including squirrels and chipmunks, in campgrounds or picnic areas. It just concentrates them near people. Seal up holes larger than a quarter inch with materials like cement, wire mesh, foam, or steel wool to prevent them getting inside for the winter.
Makes sense.
Mosquitoes and yellow jackets might still be active in early fall depending on the weather, so keep those protective measures going: repellent, covering food, etc.
And even in winter, there are risks. You mentioned ticks earlier.
Yeah, ticks can be a risk year-round in some warmer foothill areas, maybe below 4,000 feet elevation. If you're hiking or spending time in those habitats in winter, still use repellent with over 20% EET, wear light-colored long clothing to make ticks easier to spot, and perform thorough tick checks during and after your time outdoors.
Check everywhere.
Everywhere. Hairline, ears, armpits, groin, behind knees. Bathe or shower as soon as possible after coming inside too, helps wash off any unattached ticks. And nesting rodents inside buildings are definitely a winter issue. Inspect attics, crawl spaces, sheds for signs like droppings, nests, or gnaw marks, and seal those entry points.
That's a really thorough year-round approach to dealing with pests. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've covered smart packing, keeping things cold, feeding everyone, staying safe from various hazards, including pests. Now let's get to the fun part. What gear and activities can really maximize the merriment, the fun aspect of a lake day?
Yeah, this is where you get to lean into the enjoyment. Having the right gear just enhances the whole experience, doesn't it?
Totally. So what kind of water gear makes a difference? Beyond just swimming.
Well, those big floating pads or mats are hugely popular now. They're basically a floating dock you can hang out on.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. They look fun.
Pedal boards, kayaks, various water toys like water guns, or maybe even a portable water slide if you have kids in space.
Mhm.
Fishing gear is essential if you plan to cast a line. And if you have a boat with some power, water skis, wakeboards, and pullable tubes are classic fun.
And just for messing around in the water.
Yeah.
Relaxing.
Swim masks, goggles, snorkels are great for exploring underwater, even in a lake.
Oh.
Various floats, obviously pool noodles, inflatable tubes, or chairs for just relaxing.
Okay.
Here's a simple genius tip from the sources about inflatable tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Use an old twin-size fitted sheet to cover them if they're going to be sitting out in the sun.
A sheet. Why?
It keeps the dark vinyl surface from getting scorching hot. So
Yeah.
when you go to sit on it, you don't get burned. Simple, but smart.
That is smart.
And use rope to tie tubes together if you want to float along as a group without drifting apart.
Good idea. What about games or activities out of the water? For on the shore or dock?
Simple things are often the best. A frisbee or a football are great for tossing around. For more relaxed times, waterproof playing cards are fantastic. Or simple dock games if you have access to one, maybe beanbag toss or something similar. Don't forget entertainment. A portable speaker is key for setting the mood.
But be mindful of volume around others.
Absolutely. Good point. Be courteous. A camera or a GoPro to capture memories. Books, ebooks, or magazines for quiet relaxation time. And a practical reminder, download music, podcasts, or audiobooks ahead of time, as internet service can be really spotty near the water. Don't count on streaming.
Definitely learn that the hard way. And as you mentioned before, fishing gear and your fishing license if you're planning to fish. Don't forget the license.
Essential before you even think about baiting a hook, check the regulations too.
Okay. Finally, let's pull together a few last-minute items for like a just-in-case kit and wrap up with some overall smart packing tips we saw.
Yeah, having a few simple items on hand can genuinely save the day if a minor issue pops up. It's about being prepared for the little things.
Like what kind of items are we talking about?
Rope is incredibly versatile, good to have extra. For docking, maybe towing a small kayak back, securing gear against wind or boat movement so it doesn't blow away or slide around.
Multi-tool.
A multi-tool or even a small basic toolkit can handle quick fixes, loose screw on sunglasses, cutting a tangled fishing line, whatever. Spare dock lines or fenders are crucial if you have a boat, protecting yours and others at a potentially crowded dock.
Good call. Staying connected is important too if you have service, maybe for emergencies or checking weather.
For sure. A phone charger or a portable battery pack, waterproofing it or your phone itself with a dry bag or a waterproof case is highly recommended. Water and electronics don't mix well.
What other essentials should make the cut? Things you might forget but will wish you had.
Cash is always useful for places that might not take cards or small purchases. A Swiss Army knife, always handy. A simple Ziploc bag is a hero for keeping small valuables like your ID, cash, cards, phone, and keys dry and together.
Ziplocs are lifesavers.
Totally. A wet bag or just a designated plastic bag specifically for wet swimsuits so they don't soak everything else in your main bag on the way home. Swim diapers for little ones, if applicable.
Oh yeah, critical.
Toilet paper, never assume there will be somewhere you're going. Hand sanitizer and wet wipes or Clorox wipes are crucial for hygiene and quick cleanups. Don't forget eating and serving utensils if you packed food that needs them, a bottle opener or wine key, and paper goods like plates or napkins if needed. And for packing all of this stuff effectively, the source is really stress organization. Use waterproof bags or dry bags to protect things that can't get wet. Secure everything so it doesn't shift around, especially if you're on a boat bouncing over waves. Use lightweight containers with lids. Yeah, a simple but effective strategy mentioned was labeling your bags by purpose, food, safety, fun, dry clothes, whatever categories make sense for you. That way you can grab exactly what you need quickly without rummaging through everything. Saves time and frustration.
This has been an incredibly practical deep dive. It really highlights how a little bit of thoughtful preparation, informed by all these different sources, can honestly transform a potential headache into a truly relaxing and fun day out there.
Absolutely. Understand why things matter, like why you
Ah.
should repackage that salsa or why you need to be aware of electrical hazards near docks. It takes the stress out of the unknown. You move from just kind of hoping for the best to actively setting yourself up for success and, well, pure enjoyment.
It allows you to actually focus on the sunshine and the water, the fun stuff, rather than worrying about cooler soup or a dead phone battery or worse, a safety issue. So what does all this mean for you listening? As you think about your next trip to the water, consider which single specific tip from this deep dive, maybe one of the cooler packing hacks you'd never considered perhaps, or a safety detail that truly surprised you, which one will be the first thing you actually implement. What does focusing on just that one detail unlock for your overall peace of mind and enjoyment of the day?